This is Russia in 1836 and it's in a tough spot under Tsar Nikolai Romanov's rule. We're going to modernize and industrialize this nation and turn it into a 1 billion GDP Soviet Union in which every peasant gets unlimited supply of vodka by the end of the video. I have a pretty straightforward strategy that I found works super well for Russia and makes passing the necessary laws super easy, so let's get into it. So as Russia, we definitely don't have the best start. We have big troubles with our law system, traditionalism, mercantilism, serfdom, and we have a garbage ruler, Tsar Nikolai Romanov. He's a traditionalist, he's got some awful traits as well, but we have to make this work, and it makes a big difference if we can get the corn laws in the first year of the game. So to do that, we will begin trading states with Moldavia. We will give them the state of Bessarabia. Then we can go to our trade lens, trade actions, and move our market capital to Russian Dobruja, which will make our prices skyrocket. So if we go to grain, we can already encourage exports, and in no time our prices are at least plus 25%, which means we have corn laws enacted. So now we can just return to the normal state, which means we will be trading another state with Moldavia, and this time we will give them Dobruja, and we will revert the encourage exports. Essentially what we did is trade a couple of states to get corn laws. In my opinion, it's a good deal, and shout out to Deruka Sutain for this trick. Now for our technology, first of all we're gonna go with stock exchange, then let's queue up a LAIF, atmospheric engine, and let's get railways. If we go to our budget, we can set our taxes to at least medium for now, and we can reduce our government wages. Let's also fix our production methods. We're gonna go immediately with iron frame buildings for the construction sectors, and we're going to set textile mills to non-luxury as well as furnitures to non-luxury furniture. Tooling workshops, let's go with wrought iron tools. We can declare a few interests. Let's do North China, Africa, and South America. Although I don't really want to cheese this run and go for, you know, the easy conquests of Gaza, Transvaal, Argentina, and so on. Maybe we will try to only stick with our main continent. There are a few goods that we lack, and we can get the trade agreement with Austria, which we will do, and then we can start importing some of the stuff that we lack. For example, cloves, we can get this from Austrian market. I'm gonna get some from the British market as well. Now let's set some nations as our rivals. Pretty much everybody in this list apart from France, which we're going to try and become buddies with by improving relations like we will do with Prussia, Austria, and even our subjects, Baltic governorates and Finland. So we're going to also improve relations with nations like Greece. We're going to get alliance with them, even guarantee independence, and we're going to do the same with Persia because these are easy to get into our power block, which is Rossiyskaya Imperia, and it's a sovereign empire type of power block, which means we can subjugate power block members after they stay as our members for 5 years. So you don't even need to fight nations like Persia, you can just subjugate them for free. When it comes to our laws, the first thing we're going to enact is going to be this. First of all, we drag in the church in here to increase our legitimacy to at least 90, so we have a bonus for enactment time. And we're going to switch propertied women to legal guardianship. This is going to increase our birth rate and is going to appease the landowners as well as the church. So later on we can pass some laws that they don't particularly like that much. Okay, we have 1.2 thousand authority, so we're going to enact a road maintenance decree in Tula as well as promote social mobility, and we're going to promote social mobility in these surrounding states as well because they have a lot of population, and this means it will help our literacy grow. We have very low literacy at the start, only 15%. That's probably the lowest out of all great powers, right? When it comes to buildings, main two issues that we have is tax collection. We're losing out on a lot of money because we exceed this, and we have very low infrastructure in most of our states. Like for example, we can take a state like Ural, which has plus 20% iron mines building throughput. It has some amazing resources, 96 iron mines, gold, coal mines, but we cannot really use it right now because the infrastructure is so low and it's not even incorporated. So we need to work on this as well. So we will begin building in Tula. We will queue up 10 construction sectors and let's do 20 government administration buildings for now. We can get some iron mines, although we're not going to build too much here. We're going to switch to a different state because we don't have endless infrastructure. So guys, after this is done, we can launch our first diplomatic play, and that's going to be on one of our Kazakh subjects that we have over here. We have 3 of these, and we want to reduce their autonomy. So we will go ahead and reduce autonomy with the diplomatic play, and maybe we will need to fight them, so we will send some soldiers by their border. But we will also go ahead and add some additional war goals like ban slavery, so hopefully this will make them just back down and not participate in this war. Now, we will also get events like this one related to Caucasian Imamate and Circassia, and it really doesn't matter which option we go here for. It essentially has to do with our journal entry Caucasian War, which we could resolve faster if we wanted to by researching rifling and logistics, but personally I don't want to research anything for the military right now, so I'ma skip this one. It's not that important. We can annex these guys after another 19 years after our truce expires anyways. Autonomy is reduced, time to do the exact same with the other two subjects. And we're starting to have positive bureaucracy, which means we can go ahead and start incorporating our states, which we have a lot of these, so this is going to cost us quite a lot. And as long as we stay positive, we can continue doing this, not to have too big of a tax waste. So guys, we already have our first law and we still don't have the market liberal guy, so what we can do in the meantime is drag in the rural folk in the government and we can try and go for something like racial segregation. Is this going to work out? Most likely not, but we can try. If need be, we will just cancel this. Anti-British League has offered us to get a trade agreement with Great Qing. No, that's not going to work for me because we're going to attack Qing next. Qing is very weak at the beginning of the game. They have weaker troops than us. We already have lion infantry, so we will be able to crush them and take great rewards from them. I'm gonna give Persia an obligation so that we can request power block embassy, increase our leverage with them. So guys, another thing we want to do after reducing autonomy of these subjects is to start improving relations and also reduce subject payments as well as exempt them from service. This will start reducing their liberty desire and is going to be important. And as we're about to finish this first batch of buildings, what we will do is begin building in another state. So I'm gonna get this edict over here for construction in Kursk. And we can get a few construction sectors once again, as well as some iron mines and tooling workshops, as we will need a lot of tools. And alright guys, we are ready for Qing. So worth noting is that we're going to get some claims on their lands once we get nationalism. So we don't want to take states like Ili and Altai right now, but we can take Tuva, so this is going to be my goal right now. We're going to mobilize all of our armies, send it by their border, and we're also going to get a few conscripts to make this much easier. It's probably not a bad idea to get some enlistment effort decrease before getting the conscripts, but I'm not even going to bother with it because it's going to be very quick. So we're just gonna get like a couple of conscripts per state. There we go, 100 for now is going to be enough. And what we want to do also is get some additional generals or upgrade the current ones. And we have enough limit to have this 100 additional units. Now, because I'm a bit scared that Qing will just go ahead and back down, I'm going to add additional war goals, which is going to be war operations, liberate country Manchuria. And we're going to take some additional states like Yulastai, states here in the north. Urja we can do. We're going to make all of this primary so that if they decide to back down, we still get our primary demands. We can also up our mill wages for now. And we can start queuing up some additional government administration buildings and put them to the front of the queue by holding Alt, because we're going to need more bureaucracy, that's for sure. Ah, there we go, here's our guy, Boris Vorontsov. He supports a liberal movement. Now guys, what we need to do is get 200 authority points, so we need to get rid of a couple of our decrees. And once this is done, we can go ahead and start bolstering liberal movement, and in no time we will be able to grant leadership to this agitator, and this means we will be able to get some amazing laws that he endorses. Now guys, right of the Canistry event has to do with our Kazakh subjects, so this adds pacification of the steppes to our journal, and essentially we have all the requirements already done. We just need to wait until the liberty desire for the subjects goes down. It's already at like 50, it needs to go down to 25. Ooh, nice, that's a trade agreement with France. I will definitely accept that. If we can become the best buddies with them, that would be awesome. Because we start as rivals with Great Britain, so they're going to be pretty much a nuisance in this run. So London calling is not that important for Russia. It has to do with Belgium and the Netherlands. And speaking of which, if you guys want to see a playing tall Belgium run, let me know. It'll be interesting to do that in 1.9, as Flanders should be a stronger state now considering the trade updates. But yeah, so basically London conference, we can choose favorite 24 points here to increase relations with Austria, because we don't really care about other guys. I mean, we already have consideration stage for racial segregation, so I guess we might as well finish this before enacting laws with the market liberal. I'm also going to join up our navies into one big fleet so that we can do big naval invasions, just for my preference. I saw they're doing like a little bit of a navy update in 1.9 as well, so I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, so this is concluded. We can go ahead and stop guaranteeing Belgium because it doesn't really make a difference for us. So we are absolutely crushing Qing, and we occupied Beijing, which means they're losing a lot of war score and this war is done. Nice, there we go, that's a bunch of additional states. I'm gonna go ahead and incorporate them immediately, and if we lack a little bit of bureaucracy, we're just going to build like one additional government administration building, no problem with that. Now that's only 9 infamy, guys. We can continue conquest. Since we're not really going for that type of cheesy start with South America and South Africa, let's look into maybe reducing our subject amount, as they tend to become really rebellious. So I'm going to annex Baltic governorates. If everything goes well, Sweden won't join, but if they do, that's fine. And this is 35 infamy, which is pretty crazy, but let's do it anyways. And Sweden does side with them. Okay, that's fine. So we will send some soldiers by the Swedish border, and we're going to raise our conscripts. Now let's wait for 79 escalation before we add any war goals here. Boom, there we go, we have racial segregation. That was actually very fast, and I'm pleasantly surprised. Now we are able to grant leadership to our agitators, so we can stop bolstering this. And we can get amazing laws. First of all, rural folk, get out of here, we need the legitimacy. And let's switch serfdom to homesteading. 10 on farmers is probably a safer choice, but from my test runs, homesteading works just fine. And this boosts our standard of living by quite a bit. So let's go ahead and add some additional war goals. I don't even know what I want to take. Let's go maybe for war reparations. We can take like one state from them, I suppose. We can go for Norland over here for 13 infamy. I'm gonna humiliate them, and I'm going to liberate subject Norway. Why not? Maybe we can drag Norway into our power block this way. And honestly guys, since we have a trade agreement with France, we can start importing some stuff from them, since it's not going to cost us bureaucracy. It's going to be amazing, especially if it's profitable for us. That's great, we can start incorporating our new states, boys. Gentry Assembly is expecting us to pass free trade in the next 5 years. Hell yeah, that's much better than local police force. We cannot really afford to have institutions right now simply because they cost a shit ton of bureaucracy. And free trade is something that we were expecting to get anyways. So guys, we absolutely crushed Sweden. We got what we wanted. Norway is a free nation. They definitely owe us one for that. We're going to start guaranteeing them. And hopefully we will be able to get them in the power block. Honestly, if we were greedy, we could have probably just full annexed Sweden. But it would have been near 100 infamy for sure, because they have like 4 states remaining. I want to take it very chill this run. So we already have homesteading, and we have our first mandate, which means we can enact our third principle in our power block. And I personally really like to go with transportation infrastructure. This is going to give us plus 33% infrastructure per 100,000 population. It actually makes a big difference, because if we go to Urel, we had 13 infrastructure here, now we have 18. Which means we can definitely queue up some buildings in here. I'm going to get a few iron mines, let's make it a total of 10. Okay, we have 5 years. We have less than 5 years. Maybe let's focus on getting free trade now. I wouldn't rush it normally. I would go for laissez-faire, but we can do this next. France wants a defensive pact. I want it as well. I also want to invite Greece to our power block with 88% chance for them to accept it, and they did. Which now means that after 5 years we can click one button and we can subjugate them. Okay, we can rival Brazil. The more rivals we have, the less infamy we will have, because it will decay faster. Albanian mass immigration has begun from the Ottoman Empire. Well, all the Balkan brothers are welcome in our nation. Leave this mess and join our massive empire. Alright, so we have new production methods for all of our mines. Let's go ahead and enable it, and we will need coal now, so it's time for us to build that up. We have a very good state for coal, and I believe it's Tomsk. Yep, that's right. We have Kuznetsk Basin here with plus 10% coal mines building throughput. Infrastructure is decent, so let's get like 20 coal mines up in here. And every time we build, guys, we will be getting the road maintenance decree in that particular state. I tend not to min-max this overall that much, but in the early game it's pretty easy to do, so might as well. Yo, that's crazy. Russian-French fellowship requests us that we start a diplomatic play against the Netherlands. Like, why would we do that? I have no idea, but I have nothing to do with that. I would rather lose a little bit of appeasement. Now, this is something that I can get behind. We will make the Ottomans either lose 20% prestige, or they will get 28 infamy. Either way, they're screwed, so we like that. I think I'm gonna grab a couple of construction sectors here in Tomsk as well. And we have free trade, guys, which means corn laws are completed, so this will raise our loyalists by a crazy amount. We already have 7 million, and now it is going to be 12 million. Defensive pact, sure. Next up, let's go for laissez-faire. And we don't really have issues with Qing right now, so we might as well import some grain from them. We need it. Nikolai Muravyov-Karsky becomes employed by Persia, and we no longer owe obligation to them. I mean, that's fine, I don't need him. And they gave us investment rights, we got defensive pact, so they're gonna end up in our power block in no time. I think we overshot a bit with our bureaucracy, but not to worry, once we do get this first institution, it's basically gonna be gone. So it's time to pay attention to what resources we lack. We lack a little bit of iron, tools, and we will start to need clothing. I'm just gonna go ahead and queue up something like this. We can get like 10 iron mines in Moscow, maybe let's do 15. I'm gonna do 10 tooling workshops as well. As long as we have the qualifications, it's all good. And obviously infrastructure. And textile mills, I would rather build a couple in each state, so all of these states have good access to the basic goods, right? Dude, this is so good. We already have Persia. Welcome. Oh wow, we're not having the best luck with laissez-faire. This has like increased the success chance, failed a couple of times. It's not really progressing, so it's taken a bit too long that I would like. We could cheese this, you know. We can always just reload the previous save, change up the authority a little bit, and cheese the laws that way. Maybe sometimes I will do that, but probably in more extreme situations where we have like 2 setbacks already. If you guys play Victoria Free, let me know. Do you cheese the laws like that, or do you play normally? I'm interested to see how many people just go with the flow. Now, we can definitely do embargo against Great Britain, that is easy as hell. New mandate alert. Now, we cannot get the 4th principle yet because we don't have 10 members in our power block, but we can switch out defensive cooperation. In my opinion, it's pretty whack. I actually really like to have creative legislature, at least until we have access to schools, because then we will switch out to advanced research, which is going to save us a lot of bureaucracy, give us tech spread. But for now, this is going to allow us to get our laws enacted a little bit faster because it's going to lower the enactment stall chance. Once again, very optional. You don't need to go for this. There's a ton of good choices here. Construction is really good with additional 10% state construction. I might take this next, to be honest. Guys, we have 93% to get Norway into our power block. There we go. Dude, this Sovereign Empire power block is just so OP. And we completed pacification of the steppes. Now, this is going to be interesting because we get this event right here, which is going to allow us to annex our free subjects and get claims on Uzbekia, Kyrgyzia, and more areas. So we can go ahead and incorporate our new states. And we can start munching into this Persian area and encircle Turkmenia. So let's launch a return state play on Khiva first of all. And once again, I'm going to be a bit scared that they will just back down. So immediately I will add another goal, return state, and make this a primary. So it's going to be a full annexation. Oh, I think they had another state and I just forgot it. We should have done a normal conqueror state. They backed down. That's unfortunate, but we can take this remaining 1 province a bit later. Not that big of a deal. Okay, let's go ahead and do the same with Bukhara. As long as Great Ching is not going to join, we're fine because I want to fight Ching separately once we're ready for the second war. And this time I am going to annex these guys and I'm going to make these my primary goals. Yo! What in the world is this? I've just noticed Armenia exists. How the hell did they... What Ottomans? How did they let this happen? Okay, I'm not gonna question it, but guys, you know the drill. Guarantee independence, improve relations by any means, power block. Wait, what the hell happened? Norway is no longer a member of our power block. I'm not sure how and why they left. Maybe it has to do with the revolt annexing their nation. I have no idea. And we finally have laissez-faire, which means we can establish our first company. We get minus 25% loan interest rate, so we can go harder with the construction sectors. And for our first company, I want to get something maybe like this, Forestry Company of Kursk. Or we could even go for additional army offense and boost up our tooling workshops as well as arms industries and artilleries. Sure, let's do this one. So I'm gonna do this first of all. We're going to get another 10 construction sectors in Moscow. And I want to start building some universities, so I'm gonna queue up additional 8 so that we have 10, and at some point we will try to build like at least a couple of universities in each of our states. But I'm doing this in Moscow right now because I'm also going to move our capital here, so we will increase the taxation capacity, universal pop political strength, and for 5 years we will have reduced influence, authority, and bureaucracy, but it's going to return to normal eventually. So let's see, we still have a 60% tax collection issue here in Kharkov. We can definitely use this state to fix our government administration issue. Railways have been unlocked. We're not going to switch the production methods yet, but we're going to slowly, bit by bit, start building up some railways so that we can later just change it for every type of building. At least that's what I prefer to do. Honestly, guys, maybe let's queue up a little bit of military stuff. We're gonna go with percussion cap, and we can wait until the general staff is just finished by tech spread. And we will need to have intensive agriculture so that we can get explosives, as these will be needed for us to get ammunition. And then we can follow this up by nationalism. Let's go with Central Archives. Who the hell is this guy? Roman Orlov. Oh, he's a moderate petite bourgeoisie. Okay, he can die. I don't care. We got a protectionist now, which is okay. And I don't like this radical guy being here, so I'm gonna just exile him. Honestly, guys, I once did a Russia run and I messed up so badly, like I was doing really good, and then I enacted, I believe, protected speech. And I was not able to suppress or bolster the movement, so it was pretty much impossible to progress. That day, a lesson was learned. So guys, there's some new goods that we need after we switched our production methods. We're gonna start needing sulfur, steel, and engines, so that's going to be our priority now. It looks like Kursk is right now the only place where we have the qualifications for sulfur mines. So I am going to build there, but as you can see, we have infrastructure issues. So what we're going to do as well is get a couple of railways and put these to the front of the queue. Steel mills we can build here in Yaroslav, and engines as well I'm gonna do in Yaroslav. There we go, perfect. So guys, we were able to get into war with Kokand without Qing intervening, so I'm just gonna use this opportunity and full annex the guys. This is gonna be a bit of infamy, but it's fine. I'm not gonna make these primary. If they back down and give us these two states, it's gonna be fine. Heavenly Kingdom claims Kyrgyzia? Well, you don't say that often, do you? Heavenly Kingdom popped out of Qing. I have no idea how that works, never played Qing before, but I haven't seen that in a while. And boom guys, here we go. Subjugate button on Greece. I have a new subject. I'm gonna go ahead and get an alliance with France since that is available, why not? I have no idea what's happening with Norway, but they have constant revolts. I guess good luck dealing with that since you're not in our power block, you know, your problems kinda. Should have stayed in that power block, just saying. I just cannot stay without wars. We need to protectorate Sweden. We just need to. Really want to have a good grasp of Scandinavia. Well, thankfully, nobody did join this one. So welcome our newest member in our power block. And we now have per capita taxation, so our balance is gonna look much better. Now, honestly, we're a bit stuck when it comes to laws because we cannot get any health systems or schools, as the only ones we can get are religious, and that would empower the church a bit too much. But we can do something like this, guys. We can get the industrialists in, and we can start passing oligarchy. Now, this is going to be great because compared to autocracy, we will have 10% reduction on legitimacy penalty from ideological incompatibility, which is a 60% difference from this because this one has plus 50%. This should make in essence easier for us to pass industrial laws and have the industrialists in the government. Let's try and get this done. Boom, there we go. Let's subjugate Persia as well. They don't like us that much. Minus 29 attitude, not the worst thing though. Okay guys, we have intensive agriculture, which means we unlocked explosives and new production methods for farms. So we're going to need fertilizer now. Okay, let's do some in Minsk. We can queue up like 14 of these for now. We're gonna do some explosive factories as we're going to start using that for munition plants, which I'm also gonna build a few of. We have this journal entry over here, the Trans-Siberian Railway. Siberia is rich in resources but poor in infrastructure. We must build a great railway that will traverse the vast distance between Moscow and the Pacific. So what we need to do is get 100% of our all eligible states to have a railway. And there are some specific ones that we need to build in, such as Yakutsk, Okhotsk, and 2 states that we don't own yet, but we will be getting these without even fighting a war very shortly. So right now we can just chill and focus on building railways on the other states. And guys, we have nationalism. Now what this means is that we get the new journal entry, Ruler of the East. We can already issue the Chugachak Protocol thanks to us releasing Manchuria in that first war with Qing. So what this is going to do is going to give us a couple of states essentially for free. It just costs a little bit of infamy. We're getting Altai and Ili. Or we can even go, I'm not sure why this would be the recommended option here. We can get Qing Kyrgyzia as a bonus. I don't see why not. So that's amazing. These next two are going to be insanely easy to complete. We just need to do this. We need to move one of our armies to East Siberia HQ. And bam, we have present the Treaty of Aigun, and this is going to give us the state of North Heilongjiang. And then we can press claims on Primorye. So this now is going to give us North Jilin. And we received so many states from both Qing and Manchuria. We can start incorporating these as we have a lot of bureaucracy points. And yeah, basically we have completed all the requirements. We own all of Kyrgyzia because we took the remaining part from some other nation that existed here. I forgot what it's called. So now we can grab a reward. I'm gonna go with this one. It's going to boost our industrialist political strength, give us port max level, building throughput, and a little bit of loyalists. We have oligarchy. Great news. We have a tiny chance to get rid of religion, but I think I would rather prioritize cultural exclusion because the chance is much higher. Let's try and pass this now. And looks like we can reduce the autonomy of Greece, so they're gonna be a puppet now and inherit our color. We're gonna paint the Balkans green in this run, and we're going to fight the Ottomans as soon as our infamy is gone down a little bit. Now we can just chill. And apparently we need more construction sectors because we have way too much gold reserves. We don't need that, that's a waste. I'm gonna max out here in Moscow, let's get another 8. And we're building stuff in Minsk, so I'm gonna get another 5 here. That's gonna be a lot. The Milyutin Memorandum. Dmitry Milyutin becomes a general and he gets straight war criminal because he's essentially the guy that is leading this memorandum, speaking in favor of expelling or exterminating the entire Circassian population of the Caucasus. And we will have to endorse this memorandum and escalate the expulsions because we need to annex and integrate these lands. So we can go ahead and do a return state play, and I'm going to force diplomatic play because I don't want them to immediately give this up to me, as we're going to ask them for the second state. Empire of Japan started colonizing Sakhalin very early, to be honest. They're not doing too shabby. So it seems like we won't be getting this because we didn't go for colonialism, but if we're fast enough, maybe if we go for colonial affairs next, it could be still possible. Now this I don't like. Afghanistan petitions for assistance. I don't want to be a part of this. It's expensive, it doesn't give us any good rewards in my opinion, so we have no interest. There will be another event related to Persia, which I will show you later. Yeah, so I don't like dissolving the trade agreement with France, but potentially what we can do is dissolve this, complete the entry, and get it again. So I guess this should be patched because it doesn't make much sense. How the hell did we get to ascent stage with only 8%? I'm not gonna question it. Maybe this is the magic of creative legislature. So guys, as we take out Caucasian Imamate, boom, we have the fall of Circassia. The deportations will continue until the land is clear. Essentially, we're replacing these people and deporting them to the Ottoman Empire. We will be getting a little bit of loyalists, migration attraction, standard of living. And so eventually, to get rid of this journal entry, we need to turmoil in North Caucasus and a couple of other states here to be less than 25%. I don't see that as a priority, but sure, we can do that. We just need to cancel out our decrease and we're gonna go with violence suppression. Now this is big. We have central archives. Tax capacity is greatly increased. We have standardized filing system, so we can go to our buildings and we can change our production methods a little bit. Standardized filing system is going to give us a ton of bureaucracy, so we can definitely go for some institutions now if we want to. I'm gonna queue up next water to boiler. Let's go with nitroglycerin. Would like to establish another company, so let's go with corporate charters, and then let's finish everything in here in the production tab so that we can focus on getting dynamite, steam donkey, and just industrialize like crazy. But this is gonna give us a nice reward as well, 4,000 progress to identification documents, equally as important for the tax capacity. So I don't really want to join this kind of pointless war for the German leadership that Austria is bringing us into, but I suppose we can do this because we don't want to break the defensive pact. Let's help our boys out. Mind you, I still haven't upgraded the infantry units, so I guess we can do that now. Since we really have the access to all the resources, we just need to build up more munition plants and so on. Well, I guess we can grab some war goals for ourselves. We could just grab war operations, that would be not too bad. Noise, Armenia joins our power block. So guys, we have 9 members. We just need one more so that we can unlock the last principle. This, guys, is the Persian event that I was talking about. Persia requests military mission. They will get 5% kill rate permanently with Persian Cossack Brigade. Costs us nothing. It's just amazing. And that's our subject, obviously. We did get cultural exclusion. Awesome. So if we check the society tab, guys, 72% of our population is fully accepted, and pretty much we're starting to accept more cultures now, which means these pops from violent hostility, from cultural erasure, will move on to the major groups of second-class citizen and full acceptance. Let's see if we can get a colonial affairs next. So temporarily we're gonna enable nitroglycerin for all of our mines. This is definitely not the best production method that we could be using because of the mortality, but we're gonna soon replace it with dynamite as we will be researching that. And honestly, I think we can go ahead and switch to rails transportation now because we're building a shit ton of railways. We already have 64% of this done. Rifling has been completed, so we get 4,000 progress on repeaters, and pretty much always I like to take in this event progress towards technology rather than just getting more benefits temporarily. Explosives factories are booming, literally. They're very productive right now, so we're gonna get a few of these. We did manage to get colonialism, so we have our first institution, guys. And this means that we can establish a few colonies here in Turkmenia. We can do a few. We can still snatch a part of Sakhalin, and let's do Congo. I feel like this one's gonna be the most difficult out of all the ones that we did so far. But hey, look at that. There's not going to be anyone radicalized. If need be, we will cheese this law a little bit if it goes wrong. And guys, we're not gonna get progress on our colonies. And this is going to be fixed in 1.9 patch because you will be able to just pay some additional money and immediately have a port. But now we have to build a port manually. Otherwise, the colony is just not going to be built as we have no access to it. The Trans-Siberian Railway has been completed. Every owned state in East and West Siberia as well as Manchuria with railway, we can either make it get migration and mines building throughput or railways building throughput. We don't really have any mines like in this region right now. It's only gold fields which are not included, so we're gonna go with the second one here. At this point, I will be enabling automatic expansion on some of our most important stuff such as mines. We will be doing logging camps as well, and some of the factories such as tools, paper, glass, and everything else I will just keep an eye and build myself. I just want to see how it goes with automatic expansion. Maybe it's not going to be too inefficient. I know the one issue with it is that it starts building in states where you don't have full construction efficiency, but apart from that, it seems like a cool feature, and there's something like that in EU5 which I'm looking forward to because I'm not the biggest fan of min-maxing the shit out of everything. Speaking about shit, Nikolai Romanov, he's dead, finally, at 64 years old. Get the hell out of here, dog. There we go, long live the Tsar. We have Alexander Romanov, and at least he's a market liberal. This made a difference with our freedom of conscience, right? It's only 22% stall chance now. And guys, we have 10 members in Rossiyskaya Imperia. We have at least rank 3, so we can add the 4th principle. I believe I wanted to go for construction previously, so this is what I'm gonna take. Guys, we have a little bit of bureaucracy, so we can go ahead and get this to level 2, colonial growth. Wait, what is this Portugal color? That is like the old color they had in EU4. Great Britain is now Portugal's overlord, but aren't they supposed to have like a red color if that happens? This is very weird and my first time seeing this. Oh no, Turkmen, diplomatic play. What I'm gonna do now? Rush these fools. And we can grab our second company. I'm gonna establish Combined Russian Gold Cooperation, as this is gonna give us minting plus 5% and also loyalists from political movements. And we get quite a bit of cash from minting 100,000. This second construction level is quite nice. It reduces the infrastructure usage of construction sector buildings by 75%. So in the states where we have construction sectors, we will have much more infrastructure overall. Like if we check Moscow right now, we have a ton of infrastructure left here, and we have a ton of construction sectors here. There's new colonies, nice. And I'm thinking about building a couple of universities in our most populated states. So like Kiev, Tula. In this region, we're gonna do a lot of universities. Also good now that we have freedom of conscience, we have access to other types of schools. We can immediately go for public schools, so we don't need to worry about empowering the church. And this is gonna start skyrocketing our literacy because we're building a lot of universities. We're going to establish schools. We're gonna really have a modern nation. We discovered rubber in South Cameroon. Now that's probably gonna be a issue in this run because we have very few colonies, right? We didn't go for any expansion in Africa or South America, so rubber is probably going to be rare. And we will need that. Also want to point out that we are not going to go for any of these reformer entries. I forgot to point it out when we got our new ruler. Essentially, they're very weird. For example, if we take bureaucratic reform, we need to enact appointed bureaucrats, which is like the worst law you could get for Russia because you're losing the bureaucracy bonuses. So I'ma just be skipping out on these. I'ma just disable them real quick. Let's not forget this. For our government and administration buildings and universities, we're going to switch to secular academia so that we use less clergymen, and this way the church power is going to reduce. I'm honestly really looking forward to get psychiatry so that we have even more influence, and even bureaucracy is going to be saved by it. And next we could go for pharmaceuticals so that we unlock health insurance. I've just realized how much gold we're actually producing. Like if we check the comparison, we're by far the first producer. The second one is United States of America, and they have like 1/5 of what we do. What in the world is this? Bessarabia as a separate nation? Sometimes this game does weird stuff. I'm gonna build a lot of construction sectors because economically right now we're doing amazing, guys. So I'm getting another 15 and just a casual 85% success chance to pass private health insurance. We're already upgrading our education to level 2. And as you can see, bit by bit, our literacy is on the rise. So things are going good, guys. We're at 1876. We are nearing 100 million GDP. Right now, we're about to pass total separation. We already have a health system. Just I'm not focusing on upgrading this before we upgrade our health system to a public one, because then we're not going to empower petite bourgeoisie too much, as around this age we're going to shift our focus pretty much to trade unions and bolster their power up by passing the laws mainly here on the right side on the human rights tab. So because we want to form a Soviet Union, our main goal is to swap out monarchy and get council republic. Alright, we can establish another company, which is just lovely. There's honestly just too many good ones. Very tough choice, but I think I'm gonna go with this railway building throughput and industrialist approval. Check this out, boys, how many railways we're queuing up. Our infamy, in the meantime, is down by quite a lot. I'm just gonna go with the normal make protectorate play on Norway because they didn't really want to be in our power block, so we'll take them by force. So there it is, guys. Events like this one, boiler explosion, we will be taking options that will boost up the trade unions, giving them additional political strength. And there we go, we have 100 million GDP, now on to 1 billion. So USA is gonna join this play, eh? Sure, buddy. It's not like I'm gonna drag in the French Empire. Guys, Venezuela has rubber in all of their states. How about we snatch that real quick? Oh, they just back down. Alright, let's not talk about Venezuela anymore, I guess. But I'm fine with that. They just see France, they immediately just scatter around, right? Would love to fight the Ottomans, but this time they have Great Britain on their side, which is a bit annoying. No need to focus on that for now. I think I'm just gonna get a few more conscripts and go after China, because they have Spain on their side, but Spain is not that strong. And China has some amazing lands which have like 10 to 15 million population. It's gonna be great. Oh, check this out, guys. We already have an anarchist in intelligentsia, so we can invite him real quick and grant him leadership, as apparently his movement is already pressuring. We need to go right away for human rights because this is going to unlock us multiculturalism, and in 3 years we can start getting it. In the meantime, I'm just gonna go with something like poor laws. Dude, I love this. We can always just call in the French Empire. They're gonna deal with Spain for us. This is awesome. Okay, that's a lot of stuff that we're taking. I'm scared that they will just back down, so we can stop here. That's a lot of infamy. Boom, guys. We got war reps from both Qing and Spain. So we're getting 100,000 in diplomatic pacts now, which means none other than us upgrading even more construction sectors. Now this is going to be the toughest part, right? We need to incorporate our new states, and it's going to cost quite a lot for these new ones. Beijing, 1.2 thousand bureaucracy. So pretty much we will need to start building more government administration buildings. Ooh, nice, let's go. 4,000 progress on socialism as we finish the philosophy department. Alright, so here we go. We have human rights and we finished our previous laws, so we can go with multiculturalism. It's only rural folk that are very upset about this. Nobody cares. Sit down, fools. Our heir, who was a reformer for intelligentsia, dies unfortunately, and we have a new Alexander Romanov. And this guy is a traditionalist. Back to the roots. Oh, nice. So apparently we can acquire land in the Sinai. We have this tiny little one province over here, which allows us to build Suez Canal. Whoa, that's a bunch of new colonies now that we can establish since we have our newest research. Yep, it does this one. Removes all effects from malaria in owned colonies and allows establishment of colonies in states with severe malaria. So these are kind of infected areas, but look at that. We have landmines built in throughput. I'm liking that. Let's go. We're gonna go on an expedition, and I know the person for this job, Grigory Surkov. Go there with the camels, dude. That's right, you go. Well, he's dead. Maybe Grigory wasn't our man. We're gonna try again. Vladislav, it's your turn. Dude, I'm just sending these guys to their death. Alright, we finally were able to drag in the trade unions. We just got multiculturalism, so our acceptance of various people based on their culture, on heritage, will go crazy. I really want to get elected bureaucrats at this point because we have quite a few institutions, so this would start saving us bureaucratic points, because right now we, instead of that, have bureaucracy population cost multiplier minus 25%, and this would be replaced by 15% bureaucracy institution cost multiplier. But the problem is that we cannot have oligarchy. We need to switch from this first. So I think I'm gonna go with census suffrage right now. This will cause parties to emerge, so we'll have a communist party established. Interestingly, USA is going after Denmark and trying to transfer them as their subject, and they're just ignoring that French Empire is their overlord, or what the hell is happening here? How is this a good war for them? I don't know, but I'm not going to participate because they just don't have crap to offer to me. Oppressor and the oppressed. Now this will increase the socialist unrest by 0.5 every month. In this journal entry over here, Spectre Haunting of the World. If this fails, communist, anarchist, and vanguardist characters will appear much more frequently. And these are the characters that we want to invite to our government because they endorse Council Republic, which is something that we need to pass to form the Soviet Union. Boom, there we go. In the meantime, we can subjugate Manchuria. We already reduced autonomy of Norway, so we're greatly expanding our empire. I think at this point I will establish even more taxes. Let's go with more consumption taxes, services, and let's do opium. This is why I love these expeditions. We can get good stuff like this, plus 10 innovation for 5 years. So we can get our technologies faster. And right now we're getting reinforced concrete. This is going to give us 15% construction bonus. We're nearing 1000 construction already. Because of the amount of railways that we built, we have quite a big surplus of infrastructure in most of our states. And I'm thinking to at least temporarily switch out from transportation infrastructure and switch this to the third level of advanced research. I was initially planning to do this with creative legislature, but I kind of want to keep this for the enactment stall chance reduction. Now what this means, guys, is that if we go to institutions, we already have the third level of education, and at this level it already gives us plus 15% technology spread. We have ahead of time penalty reduction and even a maximum innovation investment. Is it even cheesy if we take Gaza in 1880s? Because right now I'm thinking this has 12 rubber plantations, why don't we just take it now? Simply because we need the rubber. It's not like I want to go and expand in the colonial domains just to have a bigger empire. I need the resources. Even in 1880s, it's a total freebie for us. I'm glad we just got more influence because our infamy is not that great. We already have 80. This has given us a lot of radicals from conquest. Hey, this is amazing. We can now establish new colonies that we have Gaza. We can get what's left here because most of it has already been colonized by Portugal and Great Britain. So we just got steam trains for railways, which is going to give us even more infrastructure. We can enable steel passenger carriages. It's going to require us to have more steel, but that's not a huge deficit, only 1000. We can quickly fix this. Holy crap, we have 315 infrastructure left here in Kursk. So this is where I'm gonna build a few steel mills. And then also I want to max out on our rubber plantations. We can do this in Lorenzo Marquez after the construction efficiency debuff is not there anymore. But for now we can build this in the Niger Delta. So guys, I want to bolster up the trade unions, and I think a good way on doing this is going to be inviting one of these random agitators. Not for the purpose of granting leadership, but granting command rather. Because now as a general, we can promote him and he's going to increase the interest group political strength. So essentially we're making him the maximum level right now. And this means that we get plus 20% interest group political strength. I think the only negative to this is that we can invite exiles every now and then only. I think it's like 5 years that we have to wait until the next one. So it is probably going to delay a little bit us getting a communist guy, but we simply don't have any good agitators right now, to be honest. Well, I guess thanks to creative legislature, we don't have to worry about this. We have free setbacks for census suffrage. So we have mutual funds, guys. We can go ahead and enable publicly traded method for financial districts, and this should be profitable for us, right? Yep, sounds like money. And we completed this one, so we can get 6000 progress on international exchange standards. Once again, even more minting, less loan interest rate. Or we could increase the trade union's interest group pop attraction. And I kind of want to go for this one just because we're going for the Soviet Union. Alright, we finally have census suffrage, and we have a bunch of new parties. Gentry Assembly is pissed off anyways. Let's just go for elected bureaucrats. I don't care about these guys. Dude, we have so much bureaucracy right now. We really need to upgrade the health system to public health insurance because I don't want to upgrade this too much right now. I suppose in the meantime, let's go for more social security. There we go. Love these events. Let's go, trade unions. Disaster strike in Poland has seen leaders of the Proletariat Party executed for treason. Some members, including Rosa Luxemburg, have escaped. And she's a communist, 18 years old, Polish, atheist. All that matters for us is that she endorses Council Republic. So we can give her home. She's gonna have a little bit less health, but that's fine. Only thing we need to do is pass women's suffrage law instead of the legal guardianship that we have now, so that we will be able to grant her leadership. Oh boy, we just unlocked steel frame buildings. Now I switched taxation to medium, and we should be able to enable this. This is gonna be big. We doubled our construction right now, but obviously we will need a lot of steel and a lot of glass, so we have massive imbalance right now. And this is gonna be our top priority, to build up steel mills now. And I'm gonna do 50 glass as well. And we're also going to encourage manufacturing industries in Moscow as well. Indeed, we are saving bureaucracy points after we got elected bureaucrats now. Now, problem is these guys are revolting right now, so we cannot have trade unions in our government and we cannot pass the public health insurance. I'm just gonna go with compulsory primary school right now because it's a easy way to get this, and it's gonna give us +2 max education, which we're kind of focusing on right now because we can just get so many bonuses with it. Oh, these guys want commercialized agriculture. I mean, if we can get it, that's going to be amazing because the trade unions will attract lower strata pops. So we kind of will be replacing the agrarians with trade unions, which I'm up for. We can have another company, boys. We will be going with United Construction Conglomerate, which is enabled with the third level of construction power block principle. It's honestly incredible. Plus 20% construction sector building throughput with this one. Let's go ahead and build a power block statue here in Moscow, so that's gonna decrease the decree cost. And I think I will now... Oh, what the hell is this, bro? United States of America in the heart of Egypt? What? No, that I was not expecting to see when I scroll down here. We have entered the 20th century and we have nearly 400 million GDP. We're passing mass conscription right now. Next up, we're gonna go with regulatory bodies because we actually need to pass this as we have a strike. And we finally have a communist in our government as we can now grant leadership after bolstering the peasant movement. Now, to make it easier for us to pass laws that we need to pass, such as Council Republic, we need to worry not about only having this communist as the trade unions group leader, but we need to start replacing some of the other guys, such as this rural folk traditionalist, and get something that would favor us a little bit more. It's equally important to have interest group leaders not to oppose the laws that you want to pass, such as in this case we have Petite Bourgeoisie strongly opposing Council Republic as this guy is a royalist, so it'll be worth for us to try and search for a replacement for him once it is available. Honestly, it looks like we can finally go for another war with Great Qing. Situation looks very good here. We only have Spain. Honestly, this is very weird, but I cannot find the state of Qinghai in the list of war goals for some reason. Every other state is available. This is bizarre to say the least. Do you guys know how this could be caused? Let me know in the comments if I'm missing something. So I guess I'm gonna go for the other states apart from this one. This is not great to say the least. We do not have space for the agitators that we want to get. So unfortunately, this agitator right here will have to go to prison. Let's do 5 years for now. Light sentence, bro. Great Qing, okay then, they just back down. I mean, we did have a couple of states as our primary goals, so I will take that. Newly formed parties, we have the Communist Party. You know what, I'm not going to be picky, this is definitely a decent replacement. Kiyotaka Arisugawa, protectionist, so at least he doesn't oppose what we want to get in our government. Let's go. And we don't need to invite in a character this way. Just need to wait for 4 years to grant him leadership. This would also be a good one to grant leadership to, Vanguardist for the armed forces. We're gonna queue up a couple of electrical plants as we're now using electricity for the arcades, which we have here in the urban center. One of the most annoying things about late game in Victoria 3 is that your subjects constantly have stupid revolts that you have to take care of. Like, I'm not even exaggerating, this is like the most annoying thing that they should do something about, as it occurs way too frequently. Right, so we passed the strike because we enacted a law that the strike wanted to enact. So look at this, 25% interest group pop attraction for 5 years. Finally, let's go with public health insurance, we need this, and then we will go crazy with the health system. That GDP graph though, boys, we're only less than halfway there to 1 billion. This is gonna help us, guys. We have central planning, so we unlock telephone switchboards for government administration. We're not going to immediately switch to this because we need telephones first. So it's time for us to get some of these buildings. Electrics Industries. Moscow is gonna be the primary place for that, as we're gonna get like 15 of these for now. And gradually we're gonna make the switch. So first of all, we can actually do this in Moscow. Let's enable it here. We're switching pretty much everything bit by bit to electricity, electric arc process. We have brine and electrolysis and explosive factories. We're just gonna go crazy with the electrics industries. And with power plants. We need power plants as well to get the electricity for these buildings. Expand power plants has been completed, so we get 6,000 progress to steam turbine. Technology is looking good. We only have like a couple of rows left. Guys, let's also bump up our army a little bit. I'm gonna get more infantry, and we will launch a little bit of an attack. We can now also make a switch to proportional taxation, as it's going to be profitable for us, since we're essentially gonna get more income tax and a little bit of dividends tax rate. And this was one of the plays that I really wanted to make, and that would be making Ottoman Empire a protectorate of ours. Let's go. We got a pretty big army now, and we got even more conscripts because we can have like a crazy amount of conscripts because of our mass conscription. 2,000 battalions can be mobilized. Well, we're not gonna need that much, but we can definitely get a few hundred in. Maybe you wanna back down, Ottomans. I wouldn't be mad at that, because things are not gonna go your way, as we're also getting support from French Empire. Yeah, I know, Great Britain's gonna join them, don't care. I find it very interesting how the only claim that the British and the Turks have is to revoke claim on Thessaly. They're not asking for anything else. Okay then. We're absolutely crushing these guys, and this is an absolute mess at the same time. I have I would say, a decent PC, but when so many battles and so many units are moving at the same time, it does get pretty choppy. Can we assist these guys in France? Let's try that with one of our stacks. That's a long way, boys, but you gotta move. We crushed the Ottoman Empire. They are our protectorate now. They like it or not, we're the best friends now. Guys, big switch. Look at this. 6,000 bureaucracy. Let's get a little bit of railway building throughput, and we will start investing in more institutions. Let's upgrade our health system to level 4. We're already maxed out on education. We can do some of this dangerous working conditions. We're gonna get social security soon. I wanna max out on the construction sectors in Moscow. Let's do the same in Kursk and a couple other states in this area. I actually really like that there is this button telling you if you have insufficient construction, so it's easy to know when you definitely need to build more construction buildings. And we actually quite badly need oil, so I'm gonna be queuing up a lot of this. We have tons of oil rigs here in our main continent, just insane amount of oil rigs. Honestly, our GDP, look at that, man, how fast it's growing. It's going by like 3 million each week, it's insane. We're gonna reach 1 billion in no time. Now that's a little bit of farming, as we can enable tractor production methods. Farming Simulator 2025. Oh no, radicalism for violent hostility, cultural erasure, and open prejudice status. What are we gonna do? Considering that 98% of our population are fully accepted, we don't even have pops in this status. We only have 3,000. Who are these guys, man? There's 3,000 peasants that are unhappy. Oh, they're like Korean Confucian guys in Saratov subsistence farms. Okay, we have the anarchist on the rural folks. Yep, so pretty much afterwards we can go for Council Republic, because by just having these two agitators, we have 81% to pass Council Republic. It's a sealed deal. So Japan just decided to give me back Sakhalin if I requested them. Maybe I should have done that ages ago. It's not that useful though, it's just for the borders really, because our main issue is rubber. We don't have much rubber. Congo has rubber. They have 19 plantations. Might as well. Okay, we can finally do it. Council Republic, it's here. And Prussia is gonna pay for what they are doing, because they're trying to intervene in our war with Congo. We just peacefully wanna get some rubber, and these guys don't allow us to do that, so we will take a couple of states from them actually. France this time, because they would not accept any other gifts other than us transferring one of our subjects, and I'm not in for that. There we go, that's another 100 prestige. We have 5,000 prestige. That's a nice equal 100 infamy, but we're gonna go down below 100 in no time, so we should be just fine here. We do have a little bit of a quantity advantage, don't we, over Prussia, with a 1,000 battalions army. And with 79% to pass Council Republic, we are at the voting stage, and we will have this done in no time. Screw the revolution and screw the Norwegian Communist Revolt. So we're about to finish a couple more production technologies, and we're gonna go for arc welding, which is gonna give us the last production method for construction sectors. Alright guys, I think we are done here, as we now have the Council Republic. So we have Union of Soviet Socialist Republics now. Weirdly enough guys, we still don't have a dedicated police force, so this is what we're gonna go for next. And afterwards we can switch laissez-faire to cooperative ownership. With pure numbers we overpower Prussia, and thus we take West Prussia and East Prussia states from them. Guys, even with high taxes, we are nearly maxed out with legitimacy, so we can stay at high taxes, get a loyalist at the same time, and go wild with our economy. There's so many production methods that we need to switch, and I really despise this, but we have to do it every time we take new states. If they had different production methods, we need to switch them up. Prussia apparently didn't have the latest stuff. Or maybe it was Congo. It could have been Congo, right? Well, thankfully we don't have any revolutions anymore. Let's also not forget to add our consumption taxes back on, as this will just insanely boost our income. We get 600,000 just by tax and services. Malcolm Armstrong becomes employed by Soviet Union. He's an ethno-nationalist. Maybe we don't need this guy. There's a few states that we lack infrastructure in, so I'm gonna get even more railways. We have quite big issues with Moscow and Samara, so we're focusing on that. Okay, definitely want to get compression ignition so that we have new production methods for our mines, farms, and motor industries, as well as railways. And we already have arc welding, guys, so we can go ahead and do this. We can switch all of our construction sectors to arc welded buildings, which is going to massively start increasing our construction. And of course, not all of our states will have access to enough electricity, so we will queue up a ton of power plants. And we have cooperative ownership. Because we have cooperative ownership, we need to get rid of one of our companies. I don't think we need this radicals from political movements one anymore. Now we can move from commercialized agriculture to collectivized agriculture. GDP on a big rise once again. Check this out, guys. Every week it's going up by like 6-7 million. 1 billion is gonna be easy by 1920. Boom, there we go. There's our new production methods. This is gonna be fantastic. Diesel trains, let's go. Electric sawmills we have. Diesel pumps is gonna give us an insane amount of cash from minting. Speaking of minting, we can still finish modern financial instruments to boost it up by another 10% and also boost our government dividends efficiency by 5%. The most difficult thing now in this campaign is to just queue up enough buildings to use up all of our construction, because auto expansion just doesn't do it. These oil rigs are quite profitable, I would say, so I'm gonna get a few of these because we have a pretty big deficit right now. We just hit 1 billion, guys, easy as that. Dude, what in the world happened in Spain? I'm glad I noticed this. Guys, we have Andalusia, Catalonia, Navarra, and Galicia. What? How? Dude, I need to be paying more attention to what's happening in the map because this is wild. The Ottomans just accepted our demands to become a puppet. Thank you for that, I guess. I will do the same with Wallachia. Now look at how does that work, bro? How does that work? Ottomans accepted to reduce autonomy and Wallachia is like, no, I'ma fight it. Make it make sense, bro. Well, I guess Great Britain does side with Wallachia, but we don't give a damn about that. And guys, I think this is gonna be it for today. This video is insanely long as it is. We achieved some pretty cool borders. 1.2 billion GDP, so no clickbait in the thumbnail. Decent construction with 13,000. We could easily ramp this up even more. Like, look at that, we're losing, what, 40,000 right now? We have only 300 million in the credit. We have such insane credit reserves. 20 standard of living. This is our power block, so we stuck with creative legislature until the end of the game. Obviously we can just go ahead and replace this with something. I'm gonna get food standardization for the additional standard of living just for fun. This is our GDP graph, so as you can see, we did have this tiny little hit over here. This is, I believe, when we were switching out our most important economic laws like land reforms and economic system. If we check the ledger real quick, this is the current situation of the world. We have us at nearly 9,000 prestige. Great Britain is in the second place with 4,000. And there's a 1 billion difference in GDP between the first and the second place. One thing that could be stronger in our nation is definitely population, but we didn't go for the South American and South African invasion. We only took a couple of lands here in 1880s. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to see more Victoria Free, do let me know in the comments. Make sure to click the like button, subscribe, and I will see you next time. A big thanks to all the YouTube channel members. You guys are all amazing.